What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the F100D Super Sabre sitting at a battle rating of 9.7 in the American Tech Tree. Now, for most of you out there, the F100 is probably going to be your first supersonic jet in the American tree. I say most because there are some weirdos out there that like researching the F104 Starfighter first, in which case you probably need some help, and may God be with you on your Starfighter journey, because you're going to need it. It's terrible. Anyways, I guess I'm going to start out by comparing the F100 to the MiG-19. It only makes sense to me because they came out at the same time, and the MiG-19 is kind of the supersonic Russian counterpart to the F100. So, the F100 is faster than the MiG-19, but it also isn't. The F100 is going to hit Mach 1 at just about every single altitude. Even on the deck, there's only a few maps that the F100 has got to hover at about Mach 0.99 on. Other than that, it'll hit Mach 1 on the deck, no problem. The only thing is the MiG-19 will out-accelerate the F100 all day, and especially at higher altitudes. The MiG-19 won't hit Mach 1 on most maps on the deck, but just with a bit of altitude, it'll get Mach 1.0 easily, and especially at higher altitudes, it starts accelerating much faster than the F100 at supersonic speeds. I'm not sure which one exactly has the highest top speed, but I think it's the F100, though in most cases the MiG-19, is going to be faster than the F100 unless the F100 is diving away because of that acceleration difference. Now, moving on to the armament of the F100, it is a pretty well endowed aircraft indeed. It's got 4 AIM-9B missiles, which, their AIM-9Bs are not the best. They're really just for making planes that are faster than you have to turn around and bleed some speed. Once in a while, you might get a sneaky kill on a sleeping plane flying straight, not paying attention, but for the most part, they're kind of just a utility rather than a weapon. They are better than the R3S. I know that the R3S is just a reverse engineered AIM-9B. I'm fully aware of that. The missile characteristics are pretty much identical. They probably are identical. However, what I mean by that is the MiG-19 PT, for example. In order to launch an R3S, you have to be pulling completely 0 Gs and hold your plane perfectly steady for like a whole half second before it lets you actually launch the missile. Otherwise, it'll say load factor too high. The F100, on the other hand, definitely still has that load factor too high aspect to it. You do have to be pretty steady, but it's not nearly as bad as the MiG-19. You can pull a little bit, and you certainly don't have to be completely steady for a whole half second. So it kind of has the upper hand in that regard. Moving past the missiles, we have 4 M39A1 20mm cannons. If you've flown the F2 Sabre, you're going to know pretty much exactly what these are like. The F2 Sabre has 4 T160 cannons. As far as I know, the T160 is just the prototype version of the M39. So the M39 is going to be a little bit better just in like terms of reliability, weapon jamming, stuff like that. But they're essentially the same gun. They fire the same ammunition, and they have the same weapon velocity or muzzle velocities, stuff like that. So they're very lethal guns. They do good enough damage, and they're extremely easy to aim, and you have pretty much a bottomless magazine. Now, if you aren't careful with some of your shooting in the F100, you can run out of ammo. I'm going to run out of ammo in one of these 2 games that I'm showing here, but generally speaking, it's got plenty of ammo. You're really not going to need to land too often for ammo. Which, right here, there's a J29 stalling out, get some shots in, and the 20mm have absolutely no problem shredding him. Generally, you're going to want to play the F100 pretty fast. You don't want to get caught slow because subsonic planes can almost always outmaneuver you. I go for a little head-on there, no dice. Probably should have had that kill. Poor aiming on my part. But yeah, you want to stay fast. The plane doesn't really like aiming when you're going fast. Right there I was able to pick up a kill, but that was pretty straightforward. You can see when I am flying really fast, I pretty much pre-aim where I think the plane is going to end up flying, and I pretty much just have to hold my crosshair there until they actually fly within the zone, I can start shooting. Right there, I get a kill. I was able to adjust last second, but for the most part, pay attention to some of these kills. You're going to see that I kind of just pre-aim where I think they're going to fly and then shoot once they fly into the crosshair. The reason being is because at high speeds, the F100 doesn't like turning or even rolling, really. You can see the plane when I fly straight oftentimes. Like, you're going to see I'm not moving the mouse circle at all, and I promise I'm not putting in any keyboard inputs, and the plane just kind of moves on its own, whether that be just like drifting side to side, stuff like that. The rudder is pretty weak at high speeds. It feels kind of unresponsive. Not anything like the MiG-19, but it's definitely going to keep you from getting nice shots at high speeds. You're going to have to really hope for the best, hope that they fly into your calculated path, and if not, well, you're just going to have to fly away and try again because, again, you don't want to get caught slow. The F100 is pretty maneuverable at slower speeds. It can turn surprisingly well. You can even probably pull 1 or 2 turns with a MiG, and then you're going to want to get out of there. But if you're caught on slow speeds in the F100, you're pretty much done for. As for this match, it's pretty much over. I take like 3 minutes hunting down a Lightning and shoot him down. He's pretty much just running away the whole time. Stick around though, because I am going to play one more 4-kill game I had in the F100. I'll talk a little bit more about the plane then. But since we got 3 minutes or whatever of downtime, I'm going to talk about the F100. Generally speaking, I don't like this plane at all. I find it very boring. It's kind of like a higher battle rating Hunter F1, if you guys have ever played that, in the sense that you pretty much just have to stay fast and fly straight all of the time. Otherwise, you're not going to see much success. The plane doesn't like getting into dogfights because you can't get too slow. You pretty much just have to go in and out of combat, pick off people that your teammates are already fighting, or force a head-on, something like that. That's kind of the description of what other YouTubers might call a support plane. I myself absolutely hate the term support plane. I cringe every time I hear somebody say it. There is no such thing as a support role in War Thunder. What you're basically doing is politely calling a plane dog shit, because let's face it, if you have to call a plane a support plane, really you'd rather just have a bunch of other planes that aren't, quote, support planes. Because all the other aircraft can do exactly what a support plane would do, except they don't have to rely on their teammates. They can kind of carry matches more in their own hands, on their own terms. So that's just what I think of the F100. I know a lot of people are going to love the plane. I used to love the plane back when it was brand new, and it was the fastest plane in the game. It was a lot more fun. Nowadays, though, I find it kind of boring to fly. It's not necessarily bad. I don't think it's a bad plane, but like I said, it's not going to carry any matches most of the time, just because if you find yourself alone ever, unless you're lucky enough to still be able to outrun the aircraft that's chasing you, you're probably going to be fucked. You kind of need to rely on your teammates' help most of the time and work with them as best you can. Now here, I've been chasing this Lightning for a pretty long while at this point. I don't know, my window is really small, but the Lightning just running. I mean, what's a Lightning going to do anyways? On one hand, I can't really blame him because he's in a Lightning. He doesn't have much choice. And on the other hand, it's entirely Gaijin's fault for putting the Lightning at this battle rating. But if I had a few more missiles, I could probably hunt him down a little easier. So it's just unfortunate that I don't. Lightning, I think at this point, has finally gotten sick and tired of running, and he's going to start diving on me, or trying to dive on me anyways, though he's flying a complete bus. He tries to get away right here. I pull some shots into him, line it up as I was saying earlier. I kind of had to put my crosshair in one spot and wait for him to fly into it, because it's not the most maneuverable aircraft as far as getting guns on target. And I was able to get him on fire there, and that's the kill. And that's going to end the first game I'm showing here. So let's move into the second one, and we'll talk a little bit more about why I dislike the F100. Alright, welcome back to game 2 in the F100. This one's pretty much almost over at this point. I've pretty much just been flying around doing absolutely nothing. Probably missed a few shots here and there throughout the course of the game, but in this situation I am being chased down by 2 aircraft that I am luckily faster than, so the goal here is pretty much me just run to what's left of my team, because there's no way you're going to be able to 1v2 anybody in the F-100 as long as the enemy pilots are competent somewhat, because you kind of need that speed at all times, and obviously if you're getting into a dogfight with one person, you're not going to be fast. So while you're focusing on turn fighting one guy, the other one can just keep bouncing in and out of your fight, and you're probably just going to die to the second guy. So I really don't want more than one player focusing on me at a time, so hence why I'm running to my team as fast as I can. If you pay attention to the top left here, you'll see that my fuel is getting not dangerously low, but when I pull up the scoreboard here in a second, you're going to see that the entire enemy team is pretty much still alive, and my team is really low in numbers. In fact, my second only other teammate just died, so it's just me and this Harrier AV8 at this point versus pretty much their entire team. So I would like to have more fuel in this situation, but you can see me cut the afterburner on and off to try to conserve fuel from now throughout the fight, really. Those of you who don't have a plane with afterburner, when you're on afterburner, your fuel burns about twice as quick as what the timer actually says. So, I mean, it's going to vary depending on which plane it is. The F-100 in the MiG-19 PT, for example, still don't burn fuel as quickly on afterburner as, say, like a MiG-21 will. But it's certainly not what the timer says. Right there, that head-on, I was pretty much considering the fact that I still hadn't gotten a kill up to this point, and the match is an inevitable loss anyways, so I just commit to the head-on, hoping I'd get him, and I do manage to get him with that keyboard shot there, but I sprayed a lot of ammo, and that's going to bite me in the ass later on. I continue to try to follow my teammate because I want to keep him alive as long as I possibly can. I just launched a missile at the MiG-17, obviously didn't hit him AIM-9Bs, but right there once again, and even with this roll here that you see me doing after getting the kill, you can see how immaneuverable the F-100 is at the higher end speeds. It's really, really hard to adjust your gunshots mid-shooting, I guess I want to say. That's pretty much the point I've been harping on all video, because that's the limiting factor of the F-100, the biggest limiting factor in my opinion, because that kind of keeps you having to fly straight at all times, because again, you gotta stay fast, but when you're fast you can't adjust your fire, so you just fly in a straight line, spray some bullets like that, like I did on that guy right there, and hope you hit your shots. That's pretty much it. It's why I dislike the F-100, it's why I don't find it very fun to play, and it's also why you're not going to be able to really carry any games in the F-100 without the help of your teammates. I'm trying my best here to stick with this guy because I really don't want this Harrier dying on me, but he's able to pretty much fly circles around me in a turn if he really wants to. I tried my best to turn with him there, ended up blacking out. That's kind of my fault. Launch an AIM-9B at him, he just turns away. AIM-9B, of course, doesn't track. Go head on with this guy. I really should have had him here. It's just poor shooting on my part. Would have really helped if I was able to take him out, but that's just another waste of ammo that I really couldn't afford in this situation. Right there, my Harrier buddy gets taken out, so at this point it's pretty much over. I mean, it was already over from the start, but I don't have any chance of winning anymore. I'm out of ammo and my fuel is critically low, so basically just waiting for the enemy team to come finish me up. But anyways, that's my general opinion on the F-100. I don't recommend it, but I also don't not recommend it. It's not a bad plane, it's just not for everyone. So I hope you guys learned something from the video, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll see you on the next one. Also, real quick, thank you all for the massive amount of support I've been getting lately. I think I got like 40 subs in a month, which is awesome for me. Obviously, that's not a lot, but for me, that's kind of special. So thank you guys so much for wanting to stick around and watch. I really appreciate it. I really do. So see you guys.